my first bicycle. Life lessons I learned from my first bicycle, Kathy Tucker.
Madam Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. Ask anyone who their first love was before they met the opposite sex, and they'll probably tell you it was some form of transportation. For me, it was a 1971 Schwinn Stingray. I can still see her, bright hot pink with a dark purple banana seat, complete with silver sparkles, of course. On the back was a 3-foot-high, shiny chrome sissy bar and monkey bar handlebars that had pink, white, and purple streamers. I was around 5 or 6 when I got her, and I couldn't sit on the seat and reach the pedals at the same time. So my ride came complete with a brand new pair of white wall training wheels. I used to love to watch my older brother and his friends race around the block on their bikes at the speed of sound, and as they turned and came up the dirt alley that we lived on, all you could smell was burnt rubber, and all you could hear was the screech of brakes as they slammed on their brakes and stopped right in front of our house on a dime in a cloud of dust. Oh, I wanted to do that so bad. Well, obviously, I couldn't do that with those baby wheels. But that didn't keep me from trying. Oh no, I practiced every single day. But it soon became very obvious to me that what was once a help was soon becoming a hindrance. And I told my father, who was my source of strength and encouragement, that I was ready to take my bike riding experience to the next level. The baby wheels, they gotta go. So, with anticipation and excitement, I watched him unleash from bondage my bike from those wheels. And although I was excited, I couldn't help but have this overwhelming feel of fear and just, boy, can I do this thing? But you know what? My folks, who again were my source of strength and encouragement, helped me to envision life after training wheels. And finally, the big day arrived. Okay, Pumpkin, here's what we're gonna do. All you gotta think about is 3 main things. First of all, believe in yourself. You can do this thing. And you know, keep your eyes focused straight out in front of you, always looking ahead. And the most important thing, you gotta trust me. I'm gonna be right here by your side, okay? Now, with my mom and my brother and all of his friends waiting on our porch with anticipation to see me ride by solo, my dad put one hand on my monkey bars and the other hand on my sissy bar, and on the count of 3, I was being propelled down the alley. Pedal faster! Keep your eyes straight ahead! Pedal fast! You're doing great! Before you knew it, I was flying down that alley. It was the most incredible feeling I'd ever felt. I'm doing it, Dad! I'm doing it! He was by my side the whole step of the way, just like he promised. Everything was going perfectly. I was free. Until I heard the distant voice of my father say, "You're doing great, Pumpkin. You're on your own." I'm what? I'm on my own? We didn't go over this. Where was my source of strength and encouragement? It was gone. I quickly wheeled my head around in all directions, trying to find where his voice was coming from, and my hands that were firmly clasped onto my steering wheels or onto my handlebars followed, turning my tire in a 180-degree turn at full speed. As you can imagine, I crashed and burned big time. When the dust settled, the only thing that was badly bruised was my collarbone and my ego. Now, did my dad desert me? Did he lie to me? Did he deceive me? Of course not. It's simply that his role had changed. You see, it was his job as a parent and his role to stretch me just enough to see my potential, but not too much to overwhelm me, and then back up and let go so I could see my potential. After all, it wasn't his fault. I was the one who took my eyes off the road. I am the one who lost my focus. He was just trying to get his way out of a job. Think about it. As parents, we are all trying to get our way out of a job, aren't we? We teach our kids to think for themselves, do for themselves, have unlimitless potential thinking. He was just trying to back up so I can do that, okay? If you want an example of unlimited potential thinking, you ask any kid what they want to be when they grow up, they'll tell you everything from an actress to an astronaut and everything in between. No kid will ever answer that question like this. I'd like to struggle, work below my means, make it to middle management, and coast into retirement. Now, so what happens as we become adults? What happens to that unlimitless potential thinking that we had as a child? Go back with me as I recall the 3 life lessons I learned from that memorable experience. Life lesson number 1, never take your eyes off of where you're going. There are many distractions in life, right? And if you don't know where you're going, you probably won't get there, and you might just end up someplace you really don't want to be. I am a firm believer that God gives all of us an inner reason for being, a purpose. Sadly, most of us never reach this purpose because we lack direction and focus. It's never too late to ask yourself, what do I want to be when I grow up? Life lesson number 2, trust. You have to trust in yourself, but most importantly, the people around you. No one ever made a success of themselves by themselves. Surround yourself with people that will encourage you and to make your goals and dreams, be there when you and encourage you when you make them, but also be there when you crash and burn. And last but not least, life lesson number 3, belief. You have to believe it before you see it, not the other way around. You have to see yourself bigger than you are right now and envision the person that you want to become. It says in the Bible, people without vision will soon perish. And I'm a firm believer that you have to have a vision for your life and that you can do great things with who you are right now. The only thing that stops us from doing that is fear. So in conclusion, go back to that carefree child that you used to be. You know, the one that says that you can conquer the world and no one can tell you opposite or no one can tell you different. All you have to do is keep your eyes focused ahead of you and pedal faster.